So in order to make this, it's pretty straightforward. This is a craft that you may have made if you came here with your school, or if somebody that you know came here. This is one that we do with slightly older kids because there's a couple of parts of it that are a bit challenging. Might need a little bit of help with an adult. There's one fold in particular that's going to be tricky, and there's going to be some scissors. In order to make this, all you're going to need is one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. This is just regular paper. It's not cardstock or anything, just regular stuff out of a printer. This is a hole punch. You'll see why in a couple minutes. This is a pair of scissors. You'll see why in a couple fewer minutes. This is some black tape. You'll see that before those two things. And there's also going to be an elastic band involved. But if any of you have ever made a paper airplane here at Resurgo Place before, you know that every single time we start a new paper airplane, we always start off by cutting the paper in two or dividing the paper in two. We're not actually going to cut it, we're just going to fold it. So when we fold it in two like this, that gives us a really handy dandy little line that one runs right down the middle of our page, and that's going to be our guideline. That's going to help us keep things straight. So what we're going to do is take one corner, fold it in like a triangle. Those of you that have prior paper airplane building experience are not going to be too shocked by some of this, but just don't get ahead of me. I promise there's going to be some weird stuff. And you'll notice too that I'm not right on the line, I'm next to it. You can put it right on the line, it's not the end of the world, no one's going to cry, it's not rocket science, it's airplane science, but it's true. It's not going to be a big deal. If it's all the folds don't have to be just perfect, don't drive yourself nuts. But we want to have something at this point that kind of looks like a house, kind of like that. Now, I told you it was going to get weird. We're going to fold the house over and we're going to make an envelope. So can you see how I've got right at the bottom of my fold here, I'm going to turn this over and I'm still using my line. My line is still lined up. That's my guideline. That's going to help me keep things straight as I fold that over and I make my envelope. Next step is kind of the second step all over again. We're going to take a corner and we're going to fold it in again, and I'm still using that line as our guide. And again, we don't want to be right on that line. Even if you give yourself a little more space this time, that'll even help a bit more. But again, if you don't give yourself space and you do put it right on the line, not a big deal. Really doesn't matter. Fold it in, fold it over. You see how we've got that? And now it kind of looks a bit like a smaller house, or maybe a tent, something like that. Now, at this point, we've got 3 layers of paper. We've got this bottom part, this middle part, this top part. And if you set it down, it's all kind of like, bleh. It's all over the place. That's no fun. We want to straighten that up. So we're going to take a piece of electrical tape. Do you have to use electrical tape? No. Why do we use electrical tape? This is going to sound crazy, but there's a little bit of weight to it. Just a little bit of weight, and we're going to be putting that little bit of weight right in the middle of our plane. That is going to be, to a certain degree, our plane's payload. That's going to be just the right amount of weight in just the right spot. Now that we're looking like this, next step is ridiculously easy because we just go back and do our first step again. We fold it in two. See how we did that? Just up like that. Easy as pie. And again, if your corners don't match up perfect, no big deal. It's going to work out fine. So this part's the tough part. This part's the part where you might need a little bit of help. We're going to roll this line here over so it's lined up with the bottom. It's going to look a bit tricky, and I'm just going to sort of reach around and do this. So I'm going to take my thumb and allow my thumb to sit right like that, and I'm going to let the paper roll kind of around my thumb. You see how we did that? We bring it right over like this, and we fold it down so that top part is in line with that bottom part, and then we just like that and fold. So that's going to look like this. All we need to do now is the exact same thing on the opposite side. So just a mirror image, roll it over, line it up, flatten it out, and straighten, and look at that. So now we have something that looks kind of like a fairly sharp arrow, and we have something that looks an awful lot like a plane. Couple more things we need to do before you're ready to fly. We're going to take our friends the scissors, and this part's going to make no sense right off the bat because we just put a lot of work into making a beautiful plane, and we're going to take some scissors to it? Are we crazy? Yes, we are. We're Resurgo Place. Snip, snip, snip. Open it up. Pop it up. Give it a little bit of a fold. Now, if you stop here, you have a ridiculously good paper airplane. We call this a flying Wombat. This thing will go for all kinds of distance. The higher up you start it, you don't even have to throw it. If you just let it go, it'll kind of like dolphin along like that through the air. But because, again, we're kind of an interesting spot and we like to do things that are a little bit different, we're going to take our set of hole punchers. We're going to slide it right up the front of the plane up here, not too close to the front, but you don't want to do this at the back or it won't work right. Slide it right up to there. So we've made a hole. We're going to take one of our elastics. We're we're going to stick it through the hole, pull it through, open up, pull like that. And again, you don't have to do the elastic part, but it does make it look really, really cool. That's that.